on halftime now, and we're joined by the one and only Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation. We always appreciate her time. Alyssa, what's new? How are you today?
Hey, guys. I'm doing well. I'm actually down in Whitehall, spending some time down here, and new head coach Ryan Mallett, so it's been fun.
Whitehall, huh?
That's cool.
Head coach Ryan Mallett. That sounds like a juicy project there.
Yeah, it's been fun. First time head coach for Ryan Mallett, coming over from Mountain Home, and just thought it would be really cool to spend some time down here with them. We've been able to meet up with some of the community members, too. We're going to go to cheerleading practice later today. You know, Jarius Wright is his wide receiver OC here, too. So, Jarius, of course, I know Razorback fans know that name also. So it's been really cool to spend down here. We're here for 4 days, got here Sunday night. We'll leave Thursday.
Very good, very good. Hey, we've been asking a question of our listeners. What autograph do you have that you would say is the most important to you? I was reading earlier this morning about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar asking Bill Russell for an autograph 53 years after they first met, and I can only imagine what that scene was like. We've all kind of gone through some of our autographs that we won't give up and have on display. Which one you could point out to?
I think my signed Bobby Bowden football is probably the most meaningful to me, because I was able to be at school and he was still coaching. I worked with him in the athletic department, and obviously I know what he means to college football and just the game of football in general, and one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life. And so that's a big one for me. I never met Dan Marino. Wish I had that one because that would be great. But quite frankly, I don't have a whole lot of autographed stuff at the house, honestly. So of my little bit that I do have, that might be it. I mean, I think because I've just worked in sports, I'm not walking up to people asking for autographs. So that would be it, really, for me.
And I'm about the same with you. You can't ask for autographs from the people that you're covering, but other people can get them for you. Like Bubba gave me a bat that had autographs from all of the 2018 Razorback baseball players. That one is special to me. I couldn't have gone up to them and be like, "Can I have your autograph, please, Heston?"
Exactly.
It doesn't work.
I will say this. Same thing, Phil. I can't go to Connor Nolan and ask for a baseball, but I know his grandmother and his mom well, and they were kind to have Connor get some guys from the baseball team this year in 2022 to sign for Finn. For a signed baseball for Finn. So that was really, really nice, and I bet Finn will really treasure that when he's older.
Yeah, it's really about like a shared moment between two people, and saying, "Can I have your autograph?" and just getting that autograph isn't really much of a shared moment. You want to have like 60 seconds with somebody or 2 minutes with somebody to actually have like a little bit of a back and forth. That's something you can remember. Can't put it on a wall, but it's definitely something you can remember.
Right. I remember when I was at the Super Bowl a couple of years ago in Minneapolis, I ran into and actually got to meet Lindsay Zarniak, who I think is just one of the best in the business. And I love her and her style. And I didn't ask for an autograph, but I talked to her for like a good 2 minutes. And that conversation will always stick with me.
Yeah. All right, Dodgers fan, Juan Soto to the Padres. Does that have you shaking in your boots?
Are you kidding? They're 12 games back, Phil.
It's not about now. It's not about now.
Answer.
No, Alyssa, it's not about now. It's not about August. It's not about September. It's about October.
That's been my. I know it was that was my response today when Will was like, "Well, it's official," because I'd been kind of following it, and I was like, "Well, they're 12 games back, so who cares?" Because that's my Dodger immediate response. But now you put him in a lineup with Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr., and you're just like, "Okay, Dodgers, what's your move?" And so, when you got to play that guy from here on out in the division, it's scary. Obviously, if the Padres can make a run, make it to the playoffs, everyone knows it's all about how you're playing in October, as you mentioned. And Juan Soto was a part of that Nationals team that went on a win streak and won the World Series a couple of years ago. He's talented. He's 23 years old. Is he worth the money? We're about to find out. But good for the Padres, because I feel like that name kind of came out of nowhere a little bit. I know that the Cardinals were kind of looking, the Dodgers were moving stuff around. Quite frankly, I'm glad the Dodgers didn't. I don't know where you would put them right now, and I think they need to pay Trey Turner in the offseason. So I know that that Andrew Freeman always got something up his sleeve over there at the head office with the Dodgers. So, but good for Juan Soto. Welcome to the West Coast, man.
Alyssa, I love that little pat on the head answer there. Just good for you guys.
You guys are so cute.
Good job, little brother. You're really trying. Good job. I love that. But luckily now Arkansas might have been used to be like that, but Sam Pittman's done a great job turning this program around, and the season is about to get underway with spring practice. And most of the offseason, it's all been about how do you replace the productivity, the yards, the statistics that you got from Treylon Burks. And I think most people will all agree that it's going to be done by committee. And one guy that I'm super excited to see, because I got to see him play in high school last year, is Isaiah Centennial. How big of an impact do you think he's going to have right away, especially since this will be the first time anybody will get to see him in a Hogs uniform because he wasn't there in the spring?
Yeah, because he went and ran track because he's that fast, and track is really, really important to him. And if you know anything about him, his dad was an assistant for a while with the men's team, track team, and Chris Bucknam. So look, fast kid has got the speed, and I think that's what jumps off the page at you. You remember Arkansas has had some wide receivers in the past that have had speed. We just never really got to see it. I mean, I think one name that jumps out to me is like Dominic Reed. He was just so fast, but you never really got to see it. And with KJ's arm strength, we might be able to really see some of Isaiah's speed. I know when you say wide receiver by committee, that scares a lot of people because you want someone like a Treylon Burks who can do it all. But you got to remember that not only do you have Isaiah Satenga, you've got Quincy McAdoo coming in. You have Jalen Hazelwood coming over from Oklahoma. Warren Thompson has another year with Kendall Briles. You have Keytron Jackson as well, a lot of those freshmen that were playing. So, there is so much talent with these wide receivers. It's really going to be about who do you play. And then you also have to take into consideration what Sam Pittman said at SEC Media Days. If Malik Hornsby does not beat out KJ Jefferson in the fall, which I think we all know he's not going to, he's got to get on the field. He is too talented to not be on the field. And so then you have Malik Hornsby as well. And so I really honestly think that Arkansas's wide receiver group is in a better position right now than they were a year ago. Not because to say anything about Treylon Burks or whatever, but there's so much more talent spread across the field that you're going to have guys who are going to have multiple catches a game, and that's exactly what you want to see on the stat sheet. You don't want to see, now it worked because Burks is that talented, but Burks gets all these receptions, and the other guys get 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. And sticking with the pass game, I mean, when you look at a dual threat guy like KJ Jefferson, and you kind of look around college football, around the NFL especially, I think is where you see this happen a lot, is when you have dual threat guys, one of their biggest targets as far as, receiving yards has been the tight end. I mean, look at Lamar Jackson. Mm-hmm. I mean, Mark Andrews has become a huge tight end, huge weapon for them because he's able to get open in that middle of the field and be able to roam. Do you think that's something that a guy like Trey Knox could be for the Razorbacks, a big-time tight end this year?
I have a funny story for you, Drew. We were at Chris Stapleton on Friday last week, and I was fortunate enough to get some box seats through KNWA. Nice. So we were there kind of close to the stage, and in the pit was Trey Knox and some of his buddies. And one, he just stands out because he's just huge. Mm-hmm. But I told my husband, I said, I hope more than anyone else on this team that Trey Knox finds success this year. I want him to be successful so bad. It was almost kind of like how everyone felt with Connor Nolan. You want him to be successful so bad. I think Trey Knox has the size now. He's always had the talent, and he's got another year really under Dell Loggins, learning how to be a tight end, learning how to block. I want him to be able to be successful because that's what Arkansas lacked really when you have looked at the tight ends in the past couple of years. There's been a little lull at that position, and then unfortunately you see Dex Courtney with the announcement yesterday that he will have to medically redshirt and walk away from the game of football. I know he's someone that DJ Williams here in Little Rock has poured time into with his position. So, yeah, I think Trey Knox can be the guy, and I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm going to be rooting for Trey Knox to be the guy. I want him to find success.
Selflessness is one reason why. And I think even before the position switch, he seemed so likable and liked his answers and media sessions, and there just seemed a lot to like about Trey Knox. Now, moving Malik to wide receiver at times, I think is more about, look, you've got a certain set of talents. We need to get those talents the football. That's not a matter of selflessness. I think Malik still wants to play quarterback. I think Trey Knox moving to tight end last year, when his body wasn't built for tight end yet, he didn't know the position. I mean, think about this. You do not make position switches in football in the middle of seasons very often. That makes him incredibly easy to root for.
Yeah, absolutely. And he is the one that came to Sam Pittman and said, I want to move to the tight end room. I want to be where I'm needed. And I think that just speaks volumes right there, exactly to what you're saying, Phil.
Yeah, I'll be pulling for him huge. Nick Smith, USA Today High School Men's Basketball Player of the Year. He already had plenty of targets on him because, it's the number one recruiting class in the nation.
Sure.
This is only good things for Nick Smith. It's only good things for Arkansas to have their first ever USA Today High School Player of the Year on campus here. And it almost guarantees, I mean, we haven't seen him play it for Arkansas, but we will in a week or so. He's going to be a top 10 pick. He might be the top overall pick. There's no doubt about this.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's exciting. And I'm going to tell you what, it's just really cool. It's got to be cool for a guy like Nick Smith Jr., who's put in the work, who works hard, who's talented, to get these accolades. I mean, he deserves it. He is one of the top, if not the top basketball player coming out of high school in the country. And so it's really cool to kind of see him, but also wasn't able to go to the press conference and to the practice last week, but was able to watch some of that press conference that he was in. And he just seems like a really good kid. And every time I've watched an interview with him and we're able to talk to him, it seems like he's got a level head on his shoulders. He just works hard. He's put in the work. He's seeing he's being rewarded for the hard work that he's been put in. But he's someone that you're like, okay, I can root for this guy. And I know that sometimes, especially in basketball, there's not always those people that are like, oh, you're talented, but golly, man, if you were just a little more humble. I just really think that Nick Smith Jr.'s got a good head on his shoulders, and it's really cool to see him continue to get some national spotlight, which an Arkansas player hasn't had in a really long time, maybe if not ever, that Nick Smith is getting. And so it's going to be cool to watch him wear a Razorback uniform.
Hey, before we let you go, when do you plan on having your Ryan Mallett and Whitehall piece ready to go for Pig Trail Nation?
August 21st. So we're going to run it on August 21st in lieu of our Pig Trail show. It's going to take up the whole entire show, so we're really excited about that. And so tune in. It'll also be on the web. It's also my birthday, so it's like my birthday present to myself.
Well, there's just all sorts of reasons to celebrate that day now. Alyssa, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and keep being very sweet and kind to those little San Diego Padres.
Oh, well, I'll try.
Partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Find all the latest odds, news, and sports developments, including this year's Wimbledon Finals, Major League Baseball, the latest fighting news, and even next season's early NFL futures. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BLEAV. That's BLEAV to get the bonus and get into the action. Bet online, where the game starts.